Bigotry is just the feelings of intolerance that they have. There are a lot of similar words on a very low scale. It's actually not that similar, but very low scale. Someone might be biased, right? They think one way. That is not a bad word. You know, I'm biased towards American food because I'm American, right? So there's nothing bad about being biased. There could be, if you're trying to be partial or objective. And then there's also the word stereotype, which is usually not viewed as a good thing. A stereotype is just when you generalize a group of people as one, like having one characteristic or something like that. Example, Americans are fat, right? That is a stereotype. But a stereotype arguably could be a kind of positive thing. We think in America Asian students are smart, right? That is a stereotype. Is that a good thing to be smart? Yeah, but it's still probably not a good idea to generalize a group of people as one thing. But then bigotry is definitely like on a whole nother level. There's nothing good about bigotry. Being a bigot is just being filled with hate towards one group of people. A lot of times, there's the typical black people or Jewish people or gay people. These are some of the common ones that they use, but it could be any group of people, really. Number 2, misogyny. Again, I think this is a little bit more commonly seen as a misogynist. The person is a misogynist. Misogyny, again, similar to bigotry, misogyny is the feelings that they have, the dislike, the contempt towards women, specifically women. So a misogynist is someone that, it could be varying scales, really, really hates women for some reason. I don't think there's many people like that, but I'm sure they exist. Or on a very subtle type scale, you won't hire the women or you won't give them a raise or something like that. That is an example of misogyny. I remember when I read the English articles, I kept coming across this word, especially, what was it, last year there was some murder in Gangnam or something. So when I read articles about that, they were using this word quite often. Number 3, populist. This basically just means policy, or it's an adjective, so it could be anything, but policy or government that favors the common man, right? The populist, the regular person, the ordinary common man. So I guess many people, especially in America, might view populist things as a bad thing. They kind of think almost it means communist, I guess. So I even remember, I'm sure you guys know, Trump beat Hillary in the election. I'm sure you know. And you probably know, before that, they had the Republican race and the Democratic race. The Democratic race was between Hillary and the guy Bernie Sanders. So many people kind of accused Bernie Sanders of being a populist. And I use the word accused because, like I said, a lot of Americans don't like that word, that term, or some of those things. The idea of, giving poor people like a minimum income and similar stuff like that. Forgiving student loans, just basically helping poor people, the normal man. And of course that's probably going to involve higher taxes, which is probably why most people don't like it. But the guy, one cool thing that I actually saw, not everyone necessarily thinks populism is a bad thing. Seth MacFarlane, do you know Seth MacFarlane? Maybe you don't know. Family Guy is this kind of cartoon similar to The Simpsons. Do you know the movie Ted with the teddy bear? He, I think, created that. He was the voice of Ted. He's this famous guy that made this comedian. He's not a comedian, but makes comic stuff. He was introducing Bernie Sanders at the speech, so he spoke like 5 or 10 minutes before Bernie Sanders, and his whole point was, I forget his exact words, but he says, oh, maybe actually America needs a little bit of populism right now, right? So not everyone views it that as a bad thing. Actually, these days, maybe more people actually kind of want some more populist measures instituted into the government. Enough about that. Glass ceiling, number 4. Glass ceiling, maybe you guys have heard this one. This is in the video, Hillary was using it, referring to women. It's often used with women, but not only women. It could be any minority or something. In the corporate world, there is a glass ceiling. You can only go so high. You cannot become the CEO. You cannot. You can become manager or higher than that, but you cannot get to the really top level. Wherever it is, there's a glass ceiling. And the reason they use glass is because it's invisible. You don't see it in the sense that it's unspoken, right? The managers of the company, they cannot publicly say, we will not hire women executives. If they did that, they'd get in trouble, big trouble. But that still, it exists, unspoken, secretly, whatever. But it doesn't. It's not only women. It can be any minority or anything like that. Defy gravity. The word defy means to. You can defy authority. It is often used with the word authority. To defy, go against. So to defy gravity, physically, in the literal sense. I love sports, so a lot of times they talk about the basketball player defies gravity, right? When he jumps, he goes so high, it's like he defies gravity. But the expression can be used in a figurative sense, to defy gravity, meaning to really, everyone expects you to come back down, but you keep going up, up, up and succeed or reach some crazy high goal that no one expected you to do. So it can be used in a figurative sense. And then number 6, clench, really just means grab or grasp, hold on to. It is really emphasizing tightly, very tightly. So clench, even more so than grasp or grip, is to really clench it very tight if you are scared or something like that. But you can use it, again, in a figurative sense to clench to your beliefs. This example sentence here, if you have that, says the protesters are going to keep on clenching to their beliefs, right? Even if someone kind of proves them wrong, or it makes me think of who are Pak and his supporters? Pak Sammu. They are really clenching to their beliefs, right? That's a good example. So it can be in a figurative sense as well.